Hey, thanks for checking out my video. My name is Olivia, and today I'm going to show you 3 looks using 3 different Sigma palettes. If my makeup looks a little wonky, I forgot to film an intro earlier, and I have been out walking my dog in the wild, so just ignore that. I know my lips are looking a little splotchy, it's because I'm also allergic to him, but he required kisses, so there's not much I can do. But yeah, over the past few weeks, I've really been wanting to revisit and focus on some of my older Sigma palettes. I know I mentioned this at least once or twice throughout the video, but I really enjoy Sigma palettes. The formula is typically very easy to use, it's not overpowering, so if you're in a rush and working kind of quickly, it's very easy to throw something together without doing too much. The color stories also tend to be very neutral and approachable, but still usually pretty interesting. There's usually a good amount of versatility in the palettes. So yeah, I've really been enjoying them, and I'm excited to show you a couple looks. So in this video, I'm featuring the Sigma New Mod. The background is a little bit reflective, but this is what the color story looks like. I also do one look featuring the Sigma Enchanted palette, and this is what this color story looks like. And then the last look, which is the look you're seeing right now, is using the Sigma Cor-de-Rosa. And here's what this palette looks like. This one's obviously a little bit more warm toned. There's some neutrals in there, but also a nice mix of peaches and pinks. Also, I'm not even gonna hide the fact I do keep the inserts because they're very pretty. How could you not? So yeah, if you're wanting some inspiration to use your Sigma palettes, or if you're just interested in seeing 3 pretty basic neutral looks, then just keep watching. So today I feel like doing a look with the Sigma New Mod. So I used this palette the other day and created a really cute kind of like mauve-y purple look with these shades here. So for today, I'm kind of eyeing like this little quad here, or maybe like these 6 shades. Definitely very neutral, maybe a little bit of a boring look, but I don't know, I'm drawn to these tones for today. I feel like they look really pretty. I'm definitely wanting to use this shimmer here called Vintage. I don't know, this is just the vibe today. Before I get started with the eye look, I'll show you what's on my face already. For bronzer, I'm using the Oh, that's so dirty. Ew. For bronzer, I'm using the Marc Jacobs Tantastic Bronzer. For blush, I started with a cream today, and I use this duo from Fenty. I just mixed both the shades together. This one is called Peony Droppa, and this one's called Malibu's. And then I just topped over that with a little bit of a powder blush, and this one was from Pat McGrath, and it's in the shade Divine Rose 2. And then I didn't want to go super intense for the highlight. I feel like just being kind of a basic bitch today, but I went in with this cute little duo from the Smoky Glow and Midas collab from several years ago. And I just used the pinky shade here, and it's called Slay. So yeah, those are the primary things on my face right now. I'm gonna prime my eyes and then we'll get into this super basic eye look. I'm gonna start with the shade Preppy, and I'm gonna put that kind of all over the crease. I don't always set my primer, but because I'm going pretty basic today, I really just want a soft blend. It's gonna be a quick and easy look, and I feel like it'll kind of brighten that area at the same time. I'm not setting the actual lids though, because I do want the shadows that I put there to stick a little bit better. All right, so now I'm gonna take Sophisticated and I'm gonna put that all over the crease. Like I said, this is gonna be a pretty quick and easy look. Hopefully these looks aren't too boring, but I mean, in this video I am using 3 relatively basic palettes. They're not the most exciting of color stories, but I have been enjoying them lately, so I did kind of feel inspired to use them in a video like this. The shade's a little bit darker than what I expected, which is kind of nice, but I'm going to go in with that shade and mix it with some of Preppy just to lighten it a little bit and get a bit of a better blend in the crease here. While I'm here, I'm just taking Sophisticated under the eyes. I was thinking of using kind of all of these 6 shades, but I really don't know if I need Posh. I kind of want Vintage to be the star shimmer. Although I feel like these types of shimmers from Sigma tend to be a little bit on the sheer side, and they're very sparkly, so maybe I will layer them. Oh. Never mind, Vintage is not that sheer. It's actually a pretty saturated shade. And then this one is Posh. This one actually looks a little bit lighter than what I thought it would be. It's really pretty though. Maybe I'll use both. I'm gonna go with Vintage on like kind of the outer part of my lid, and then I'll use Posh on the inner part. Okay, I feel like I was right. They're not super sheer, but it's not quite as thick and opaque as I was expecting, based on the swatch. I feel like the formula is more sheer than what it looks like, so I feel like it has a lot of impact on the lids, but it's not super heavy. I hope that makes sense. I'm actually gonna go in with just a little bit more of Posh. And then even more of Vintage. I feel like in my mind I was going for like a pretty like soft, bright look. I wouldn't say it's like fully smoky, but it's a little bit smokier than what I was planning, but that's fine. I love a smoky look. I'm gonna try Street Style as a bit of a liner detail. If it's not quite deep enough, I'll go into Grunge here, but again, I was kind of going for something a little bit softer, so I'll try Street Style first. I'm not looking for the most amount of contrast with the liner. Just a little bit extra, I guess. Am I even speaking normal sentences? And I'll put some on the lower lash line. Honestly, I feel like that's good. I feel like it's giving me enough of what I wanted. All right, I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of the shimmer on the inner corner. I will say I feel like I'm a little bit more of a matte on the inner corner type of person. This does look a little bit sparkly. I might top over this with the matte. I don't know if it's quite bright enough. Just bringing this onto the inner part of the lid as well. Yeah, I'm gonna top over that with just a little bit of Preppy. Just because I feel like Preppy is a little bit more bright. And then highlighting the brow bone a little bit more. One last final blend. All right, so that's pretty much gonna be the look. I'm gonna finish up with some mascara and maybe something in my waterline, and I'll be back to show you the final look. All right, so this is the finished look using the Sigma New Mod palette. I know it's a bit of a basic and kind of boring look, but something about those neutrals really just drew me in. I don't know if it's the undertones of the shade that made me feel like really interested in using those today, or if it was just like my mood maybe, but either way, I'm really happy with how the look turned out, and it's really just what I was feeling. I tried to go in with this white eye pencil from NYX on the inner part of my waterline. My eyes were a little bit watery though, so it wasn't really wanting to stick. And then for mascara, I'm just using the Bad Gal Bang. For my lips, first I went in with this little mini from Huda Beauty, and it's in the shade Interview. Then I went in with this one in the center of that. This is from the Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee collab. This one's in the shade Lanny. I found it a little bit too pale for what I was wanting though, so I just topped over the whole thing with the one from Huda Beauty. But yeah, I'm happy with how the look turned out. I feel really pretty in this. And I was, of course, really happy to dip into this one again. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you in just a second though for look number 2. Good morning. I'm just getting ready for work, and I'm going to be doing a quick look with the Sigma Enchanted palette today. This is definitely one of my favorite palettes from Sigma. I always feel a little extra inspired to reach for it around this time of the year. What I love about this palette, and I feel like with many of Sigma's palettes, is it's just very approachable. It's more neutral. It's going to be difficult to get something super bold with this look, obviously, unless you're going for like a deeper smoky eye. But there's still kind of like splashes of like muted or toned down colors. So even though it is a bit more neutral, a bit more approachable, it's also still a little bit whimsical at the same time. So that's why I really enjoy it. And I'm excited to do a look with it today. Since I'm getting ready for work, I'm probably not going to do something super bold on the eyes, but I am working remotely, so I might go a little bit smoky. I played with this the other day and I went for like this green and gold shade, so I think for today I might focus on the shade right here. I don't know, this one's kind of calling to me. It's the shade Metamorphosis. So yeah, that's the plan, just a little bit more of like a neutrally but still kind of smoky look. Before I prime my eyes, I'll quickly show you the color products that are on my face. So I'm using this complexion trio from Alamar Cosmetics, and I used all the shades today. Obviously I used this one just as a bit of a setting powder, and then I mixed these two for my bronzer. For my blush, I just went in with Nude Pop from Clinique. And then on my lips, just as I get ready, and probably actually for the day, I'm just wearing this lip oil from Blend Bunny, and it's in the shade Love Bite. So yeah, those are the main things. I'm gonna prime my eyes and let's get into the eye look. Alrighty, the eyes are primed, so let's just get started. For the look, I'll probably end up focusing on these 3 shades, and then I might deepen it up with one of these 2. But I'm just going to start with the shade Innocent and kind of put it all over the crease, and then I think I'll deepen it up with Loam. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, Loam. Either way, I'm going to deepen it up with this shade. Now I'm taking Loam just to add a little more definition into the crease. I'm taking Loam on a slightly smaller brush. I feel like I have a hair here. I feel like I could feel it itching, but I can't get it. Anyway, I'm taking Loam on a smaller brush and I'm just going to put it under the lash line. I think I will deepen this up just a little bit more, so I'm going to take some of Wicked and put it in the outer corner. I don't want a lot because I'm not going to go super dramatic, but I feel like with that shimmer we're going to use, a little more depth would be nice. And I'm adding just a little bit in the outer part of the lower lash line. Going back in with Loam to try and diffuse that a little bit. I hope this doesn't end up like too dramatic. I did want a smoky look, and I love a smoky look. I feel like adding the black just really brought a little bit of the drama. Even though I said I didn't want too much drama, I just can't help myself sometimes. But again, all my meetings are virtual today, and I wear glasses, so I feel like it's all gonna be hidden anyway. This look is for me today. So I'm just gonna go in with Metamorphosis now, which is that shimmer, and I'm just gonna put that all over. I'm gonna layer it kind of up into the crease and a little bit on that black as well. I feel like it's a really pretty shade to layer over something dark. That looks really pretty. I really like that. I'm gonna put a little bit under my lower lash line as well. I'm gonna blend it out a little bit, just with the brush I was using for that lone shade. And then I'm gonna go in with the obvious shade for the inner corner, which is Quartz. Maybe a little bit under the brow bone too. It's not the most stark of whites, but I feel like it does still give a little bit of a brightening effect. All right, so that's pretty much gonna be it for the eyes. I'm gonna finish up the look and I'll be back in just a second. All right, so this is the finished look. I just went in with kind of a basic peach color in my waterline to brighten things up a little bit. And then I'm using the Bad Gal Bang mascara from Benefit. That was pretty much it. I went in with just a little bit of lip liner. I used a brown color. It was Anywhere Caffeine from Makeup Forever. I feel like I should have gone with more of like a rosy neutral, but it doesn't really matter. Again, I'm working online. No one's gonna see it. The other lip liner I wanted's in my purse, so it's way too far. But yeah, this is gonna be the finished look. Really loving how the eye look turned out. It's pretty much exactly what I was going for. Again, just like a little bit of smokiness, but still pretty neutral at the same time. I just feel really pretty in this look, so I'm really happy with it. And yeah, this is gonna wrap up look number 2, and you'll see me in just a second for look number 3. All right, it's time for the third look of the video, and today I'm going to be using the Sigma Cor-de-Rosa palette. This is what the color story looks like. Again, just a really pretty, neutral, but kind of like softer pink palette from Sigma. I really think that's something that they do very well, is like neutrals with a twist, interesting neutrals, or just, straightforward neutrals. I just find that their palettes always have a really good range. There's a lot of different directions you could take a look. There's usually a lot of contrast. There's some deeper shades and lighter shades. The packaging is always really beautiful. I've just really been enjoying the Sigma palettes, and I'm really happy I did this video. It kind of gave me another excuse to dip back into all of these. So I work remotely again today, but I am supposed to be online in about 25 minutes. So I'm going to do something pretty quick and easy, but I'll just start with the other color products that are on my face. So for my blush and bronzer, I started with this cream duo from Tarte. This is the Breezy Cream Cheek Duo. The blush is called Pink Sands, and the bronzer is called Seychelles. I reached for this one during my last Shop My Stash, and then after several weeks, I realized I hadn't really touched it yet. So I've made it a bit of a point to use this one more regularly, and I've really been loving it. I didn't go over with another bronzer, so that's all I have for the bronzer. But for the blush, I did top over it with this duo from Cover FX. This one is Pink Dahlia, and I just used the matte shade for today. I didn't go in with a highlight. I might add one after the eye look, but I felt like everything was looking pretty glowy, so I didn't really feel like I needed one. We'll see how I feel when the look is done though, and if I even have time. And then on my lips right now, I'm just wearing this pink lip gloss from Marc Jacobs. There's no like name, shade name, product name, it's just Marc Jacobs, so this is what I'm wearing on the lips. And yeah, I'm gonna prime my eyes and we'll get into this very basic eye look. So I'm kind of torn for the look today. Obviously I wore kind of this lighter pink shirt. I feel like there's different pink looks you can get from this palette. You can definitely go a little more saturated, a little bit more of a hot pink in the middle here. Obviously there's some warmer tones here. This quad would be a little bit more neutral with a pop of peach. I really am just kind of feeling these tones today, so I might start with these, and then I might deepen it up to make it a little punchier. Again, I hope that's not too boring, but that is just kind of what I'm feeling, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to start with the shade Veranda, just kind of at the top part of the crease, and then I'll go in with Cor-de-Rosa all over the crease. It is hard to like not push myself to do something a little bit more fun or bold or colorful, especially when I'm doing a look for YouTube. Obviously I don't want everything to be super boring, but the point of this whole series was just kind of giving me an opportunity to use my more basic palettes. So I mean, unless I'm doing this series using maybe a bunch of indie shadows and more colorful shadows, for the most part, this probably will just be like work looks using things that are more neutral and basic. Again, I'm hoping it's not too boring to do more simple things for these videos, but that is just kind of the reality of what I'm doing every day. So I hope you still enjoy it. I don't know if I really wanted that shade so high, but I got kind of distracted talking. I think to deepen this up, I am kind of tempted to do Bare Root, but I feel like Shakespeare might be a little bit more fun. I feel like Cor-de-Rosa looks a lot warmer than I was expecting though, so I don't want to throw it off too much. We'll just try it. I'm going to go in with Shakespeare, which is kind of like a bit more of a burgundy or like deep raspberry shade. And as you can see, I'm just kind of focusing that on the outer corner and on the outer part of the crease. I'm going to go back in with Cor-de-Rosa and put that on the lower lash line. I'm just going to go back in with that other brush as well and blend everything out. So like I said, I'm going to go pretty basic with the eye look today. I'm going to use High Society all over the lid, and I'm going to top it off with Belle of the Ball. Yeah, I feel like this little duo at the end of the palette looks a lot more rosy in the pan, and then it looks a lot more warm on the lids. But it is still a really pretty kind of duo. I really like the undertones. Now going in with Belle of the Ball. And I think I'll just kind of top over the whole thing. It's a little bit more of like a piecey shade, if that makes sense. I don't know, I feel like it looks really nice topped over everything. Just gonna go over one more time and blend everything out. And I'm gonna use the shade Veranda on the inner corner. Alright, so this was definitely pretty quick. I'm gonna finish up with some mascara and then I'll be back to show you the final look. Alright, so this is gonna be the finished look. I really like how it turned out. Again, I'm just really into the tones that are offered in this palette. I just feel like overall it's just a very pretty, flattering palette. I feel like it's perfect for the spring, even going into summer season. And I was really happy to play with it again today. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for the video. I'd love to know which look was your favorite, or if you have these palettes, or if you used to have these palettes from Sigma, maybe you've decluttered them, they are pretty old. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I've encouraged you to reach for some of your older makeup as well. Thank you so much for spending your time watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!